I see we're still making the headlines.
Tony, I hate to do this to you.
Game and Bliss.
Hey, Bill. A soft touch. Harry the Goat just waltzed into the Diamond Club.
So what?
So what? Jake Pilati cleaned up 20 grand at the track this afternoon. And Harry paid him off in cash. That's what.
20 grand, huh?
That safe in the Diamond Club is just an old tin can. I could take that with a rusty heel.
Now, wait a minute. I want a favor. You're not taking any tin can. You're taking Jake Pilati.
Hey, Mr. Jake. I'll get your car.
Oh, forget it, Jim. I'm walking. Boys? Hi, Tony. What's up? Oh, just driving by and thought you might like your lift. Well, now, that's mighty nice of you, but I always walk home from the club to sniff for fresh air. Great stuff. Do it every night. You're in a rut, Jake. Maybe tonight you better ride.
They said I'd find Sergeant Flanagan in here.
That's right. Want to sit down? Now, what can I do for you?
I'd like to file a complaint.
We've been getting them around here wholesale. Your name, please?
Susan Fleming.
Susan Fleming. It's a nice name. Now, what's this complaint of yours all about?
My, gentleman friend.
What's he done?
He made 3 dates this week. With me.
Only 3 days? That's not bad.
That's terrible. He canceled them all.
Sounds suspicious.
Well, he says it's an emergency. He has to work nights and Sundays, holidays, too.
You don't believe him?
Well, I do, but...
But what?
Well, it's bad for a girl like me. I'm the lonesome type, kind of, romantic and easily swayed.
You know, Miss Fleming, your case fascinates me. Why don't you come out and have lunch with me? Maybe we can solve this, predicament of yours.
I think I'd like that.
Sergeant, come on. Flanagan! Susan! Break it up, the both of you.
Look, I don't know where you're going. I'm taking Sue to lunch.
Lunch is out. We got a case on our hands.
Is that important, Captain?
You ought to know. You're the commissioner's secretary. Jake Pilati's been snatched.
Pilati of the Diamond Club?
He just came over the grapevine. Now, if we can find out who snatched him, we can take the curl out of this crime wave. We'll call on his wife. Maybe she'll know who had it in for him.
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Flanagan, come on!
Boys have got Tony Salvo in the alley.
Nice going, Jim. Bring him in through the side door. Well, Weasel Face, who's in a rut now?
Now, wait a minute, Jake. It's the 20 grand you're worrying about. Why, I ain't got 20 cents.
Yeah, I know. Biff borrowed some. But maybe you can tell me how to get it back.
If anything happens to me, you'll get it back. With interest.
Oh, now, that makes me nervous. All right, boys, blitz.
Now, wait a minute, Jake. Take it easy, boys, will you?
Wait a minute. You dropped something. Look, you lost it. Good heavens. Goodness gracious. Take Ryan and Mac off the night shift. Hey, what the devil are you doing there? Oh, rolling a drunk, huh? I'm investigating a cadaver. A corpse? A corpse. Now stop being evasive and tell me in plain English, what were you doing you got mixed up with that caviar?
Oh, celebrating, just celebrating.
Ah, drinking, eh?
Perish the thought, sir. I was merely perambulating, communing with the night to wear my brain.
It needs it. Now stop interrupting. Just answer my question. What's your name?
Jones? Professor Cosmo Jones.
Professor. Professor of what?
Psychological criminology. Well, that is, I just graduated from a correspondence course, the art of detection. Would you like to see my diploma?
No!
Really, sir, I'd be very happy to offer my services as a special investigator or a plainclothesman.
Why, you dried up grape?
Temper. Control yourself, Captain. Why, you should welcome my timely arrival. Endowed as I am with rare craft and exceptional cunning. Why, I could crush this cavalcade of crime that's contaminating our callous city.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yes, with the art of speech and other tactics. Why, I could become the criminal's natural nemesis.
That's amazing. Positively amazing.
Why, I think we're going to get together.
We certainly are.
Flatter me, Captain. When do I begin my duties?
Right away. In the cell block.
Why, I don't understand. Oh, if you mean that body, I didn't kill him.
It's not for that.
Well, I don't. Do you think I've been drinking?
Oh, it's not for that.
Well, then what are you holding me for?
For being the little man who shouldn't have been there.
This door and those cannons of his just pulled into the parking lot.
Looks like a showdown. Round up the boys on the floor. I'm going to call this bluff.
Yeah, but Jake...
Get him. Yeah?
Hello, Jake.
Well, Biff Gar, imagine seeing you here.
You hear the news?
No, what news?
Tony Savo's in the morgue.
Tony? No kidding.
No kidding. You wouldn't know anything about it, would you, Jake?
What makes you think
Jake
I...
Seton.
Well, now, you boys don't think I had anything to do with it. My boys have got strict orders to stay away from your side of the fence.
You intruding, boss?
No, fellows, stick around.
Anyway, Tony was a cheap loudmouth.
Maybe he had it coming to him.
Yeah, maybe he did.
But it's bad business, Jake. You and me cutting each other's throats.
Yeah, no percentage in that.
The snatch racket pays off a lot better in the higher brackets.
Oh, it sure does.
Just so we don't get in each other's way. Remember, 41st Street is still a dividing line. You grab yourself anything north of that. But the rest is our territory. Is that understood?
Oh, sure, that's fair enough. Now, wait a minute, Biff. How about that little matter of 20 grand?
Write it off. Tony said we're weaving that up.
Hello, Susan. Honey, I've got great news for you. The captain's put me down for a raise. Yeah, a raise. He sent it to the commissioner for an okay.
That's wonderful, Pat.
I'll be by for you in 10 minutes. We're going out and celebrate.
Pat, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Sure, and there's a dim out, too. And not for Patrick Flanagan. This calls for champagne.
You mean this is a cold morning for hot chocolate at home? That's the limit for this celebration.
Hot chocolate? That's for kids.
And for little boys who call up in the middle of the night for a date. I'm being sensible, Pat, and I warn you, don't break this date.
All right, honey, have it your own way. I'll be right over.
Ah, Sergeant, it's several days now that I've tried to see you.
Oh, about what?
To express my gratitude. I understand it was you who interceded with Captain Murphy to effect my release.
Oh, there wasn't any real charge to hold you on. Murphy just locked you up to keep you out of harm's way.
That was considered of the captain. I thought he didn't like me. You know, Sergeant, that makes me think.
I get that way sometimes.
I wonder if Captain Murphy would reconsider my application as special investigator.
Well, I wouldn't bank on it.
Well, but my varied accomplishments should prove valuable. You doubt it? Let me demonstrate right
Some
here.
other time.
It'll just take a minute.
Yeah, but I gotta meet my best girl.
Ah, the call to romance. No doubt her beauty shames the evening moon.
Professor, that one gets me. Come on, you can ride along with me. Show me how good you are.
Ah, Sergeant, modesty forbids excess boasting. But among other things, I'm a laryngeal prestidigitator.
Yeah? Come again?
But to elucidate, I combine the talents of voice mimicry and ventriloquism. Shall I oblige?
There's no ordinance against it. Funny little duck. Looks more like a ventriloquist dummy than a ventriloquist. I better unload him quick. That's me. Hey, I didn't say that.
Sounded like you.
Flanagan, mind you keep your eyes on the road. On me oath, I'll have your badge if you wreck that squad car. Go on. Look ahead of you, and in the future be more careful of the company you keep.
Murphy.
Stop interrupting.
Murphy to the life.
I'll go inside and phone for a cab.
I'll go with you.
No, I'll just be a second.
Brazen attempt at kidnapping.
Lois, what's the matter, darling? What happened?
The men tried to pull me into their car.
Oh, you poor kid. Here comes a cop. Remember, you don't want to fuss.
No.
You all right, miss?
Yes, I'm perfectly all right. Tommy, would you take me home?
Sure, Phyllis. If you don't mind.
Just a minute. I'd like to know exactly what happened.
Well, Miss Blake was waiting out here for me while I was in there phoning for a cab. Then those crooks came up and tried to snatch your purse.
The purse? Really, my good man, purse snatchers don't try to escape in high-powered motor cars.
Are you suggesting that...
I'm only trying.
Hold it, Professor. I'm making this investigation. What's your address, miss?
Look, officer, we'd appreciate it very much if you sort of played down your report. Miss Blake's father doesn't know she was out stepping tonight, and, well, if it ever hit the papers, you know how it is.
Blake? Oh, yes, I believe I've seen your picture in the public print. Aren't you the daughter of James J. Blake, the so-called oil tycoon?
Your address?
2180 Edgemont Drive.
Your name and address.
Thomas Hayes, Hotel Gramercy.
Well, here's your cab. You can go now. Okay, Professor, we can go now. Professor?
Goodbye, honey. I got to go now. Drop my head like this. Come on, Pete. What you moving for? Cut out!
Really, sir, this is most upsetting.
Yes, sir, it sure is. There's a hand over there floating in the air by itself.
A hand, you say? Floating?
Yes, sir, without nobody.
Why, that's impossible. Come, we must investigate.
You go ahead on. You inquisitive. I ain't.
Now, don't you worry. You have the protection of Professor Cosmo Jones. And your name, please?
Professor Smith. Eustace Smith.
Well, come on.
Yes, I'm coming.
Good grief. See? Your floating hand is attached to an inebriated body.
He ain't inebriated. That's Mr. Mike Andrews. He could be drunk.
I believe he's dead.
Dead? Dead? I think I better call the police.
Yes, hurry. Or no, come back here. The police have a peculiar custom of jailing people who discover cadavers.
So what shall we do now, Professor?
Well, he's still breathing. Better call an ambulance.
Ambulance? I sure will. Because I don't feel so good myself.
Patient in a coma, condition precarious, recovery doubtful. Miss Blake, we haven't been able to talk to the injured man. He's still unconscious. You saw him at the hospital this morning?
Yes, Commissioner, I did.
Was he one of the men who tried to seize you?
Of course not. There was no attempt
No, I'm positive. There was no attempt to seize me.
Well, I'm relieved to hear that. Considering recent criminal activities, I'm glad to know it was nothing more serious.
But it was serious, Commissioner. Should be obvious even to Miss Blake that it was a kidnap attempt. She'd only tell us...
Just a moment, Sergeant. You're the one who's under investigation, not Miss Blake. We'll be all back. You may go now.
Commissioner, my dad's out of town. And if there should be any unfavorable publicity...
I understand, Miss Blake. I'll do what I can to keep your name out of any newspaper releases.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Sergeant Flanagan, this is a serious situation you find yourself in. Very serious if Andrews should die.
But I'm certain that none of my shots hit this fellow Andrews.
Miss Blake has already stated the men employed no guns in accosting her. You were the only one who did any shooting.
The young lady was suffering from shock at the time. It's my opinion this was no purse-snatching affair.
Nobody asked for your opinion. The idea of arguing with the commissioner itself.
If you please, sir. I believe I have the solution to the question in point.
Well, be brief about it.
Well, it's my opinion that... What I mean is, a ballistics test will prove the origin of the bullet that felled Mr. Andrews.
Unfortunately, the bullet went through the man's body and was lost.
I reached the end of my patience. Newspapers and civic organizations have been blasting us with criticism for weeks, holding up the Department of Scorn. Well, I won't have it. Captain Murphy, you will assign Flanagan to the status and pay of patrolman pending the outcome of this investigation.
Oh, but Commissioner, I'm very short-handed.
That's an order.
Yes, Commissioner.
Come, Miss Fleming. Good day.
Good day. You shriveled up mouse. Now you see what you've done with your meddling? Robbed me of me best sergeant. You and your high-fruiting criminology.
But, my dear Captain,
Shut up! It serves you right. If you hadn't been associating with this Mr. Cuckoo here, this never would have happened.
Back to the sticks, I guess.
Come here, you Mick. I hate to do this, Pat, but you heard what the commissioner said. And don't go getting sour on me. And I'd be trying to get your sergeant's stripes back for you.
I know, Captain. You're a pal.
Very noble gesture, Captain. Maybe I can help you out.
Thanks. Maybe you could. But right now, I'm going to help you out. Come on, wait a minute. Take the gun.
Never mind. I don't need you to help me help myself out.
Good.
Oh, don't worry about it, darling. We'll go ahead with our plans just the same.
Go ahead. On what?
Now, look. I don't have to tell you. I'm good at squeezing nickels. Pinching pennies, even. We can still build us something on a patrolman's salary.
I knew you'd say that, Susan. But until I get my stripes back, it's out. Besides, there won't even be any patrolman's salary if Andrews doesn't pull through.
Well, there's still a chance, Pat.
Yeah. But it's a slim one.
I had figured on doing some powerful thinking about this, but thinking ain't the most powerful thing that I got.
Look, you don't want to be a janitor's helper all your life, do you? You want to rise in the world, don't you?
Well, that's if it don't lead to trouble. It's mighty cold sitting right here.
I mean advance yourself. Look, with my aid, who knows, someday you might set the world on fire with achievement.
Now, that suits me. Uh-oh. No, sir.
But Eustace.
Yes, sir, but that'll get me landed in the clink. Why, setting fires, that's arson.
That's just a figure of speech. Now look, Eustace, you do aspire to follow in my footsteps, don't you?
Is that good?
It's absolutely essential if you want to become a first-rate detective.
First-rate detective? Now, that sounds good. When do I get inducted?
Right now. Eustace Smith, you're now my assistant.
Accepted.
Now, the first thing we have to do is find that missing bullet.
Yes, sir.
If necessary, that is, you will have to sweep every inch of this entire street in an effort to locate it.
Uh-oh. Here I'll go back to janitor.
Rome wasn't built in a day. And stop juggling that pellet while I talk. It's distracting.
No, sir, this is lead. I found it this morning while I was sweeping.
Come on, Eustace. Did you say lead?
Yes, sir.
Don't! That must be the very bullet we're looking for. Now Sergeant Flanagan can be vindicated.
There it is. Now what we're going to do?
Well, we have two alternatives. Either tear up the street or appeal to Miss Blake's finer instincts.
I prefer the latter. But how?
By describing Sergeant Flanagan's dilemma to her.
Dilemma? You know that's bad. You know I had that once and it broke out all over my back.
Now, if I can just convince Miss Blake that her concealment of the true facts in this case imperil Sergeant Flanagan's position, she might go to the commissioner and tell the truth.
Yeah, I know that, Professor. But you know she won't talk. You know how she acted this morning.
Yes, I grant that, Eustace. But suggested contrition is often more successful than forceful persuasion.
Yeah, I know that. But what else is she going to say to her?
Well, I shall approach the young lady and say, you are the cause of a very unhappy situation.
Who, me?
No, her.
I ain't no her, I'm a him.
No, Eustace, I understand that.
What do you want?
If you'd invite me in, I might let you know.
All right.
I'm not leaving until noon tomorrow, so I'll have plenty of time to see the commissioner in the morning.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate it, Miss Blake.
Oh, don't thank me. It's your funny little friend, the professor, who should be taking the bows.
Oh, why?
You broke me down with a truckload of sun-kissed dialogue.
I know just what you mean. Anyway, it was darn swell of you to come here and help me out of this jam.
Well, I think you're pretty swell yourself. Well, I must be going.
Yes?
Aren't you going to wish me a pleasant journey?
Why, of course, very pleasant. And for selfish reasons, I hope to get back real soon.
Oh, it'll only be a few days. I'll make a clean breast of it to Dad and see that he speaks to the commissioner about your reinstatement.
Well, I'm in your hands.
That's sweet. Oh, pardon me.
Susan, this is Miss Blake. Susan lives right across the hall.
I had the pleasure of meeting Miss Blake at the investigation. Here, you big flatfoot, and I hope you choke on it.
Well, perhaps I'd better go now.
Yeah, maybe you better.
What are you doing here?
I had to come, Biff.
You're not supposed to know us kind of guys. You're a social contact. Oh, I told you that.
That's right, Biff. Only I'm here to protect my interest in the payout.
Yeah, now what's up?
Phyllis Blake is leaving town in the morning to join her father.
Oh, that means we got to move fast. Tonight.
No, Biff. Don't do anything yet. Too much heat on. I'll let you know when.
Oh, here comes militia.
Greetings, Captain Murphy.
Stop right where you are.
But, my dear Captain.
Now, be careful. I'm not myself today.
Oh, really? That should be a great improvement.
One more word out of you, and I...
Are you Captain Murphy?
Yes.
I'm James J. Blake, father of Phyllis Blake.
Oh, how do you do, Mr. Blake? I'm glad to see you. Sit down and make yourself comfortable.
I didn't come here to sit down or to pass the time of day. What has been done to recover my daughter?
A fair question.
It's outrageous, positively outrageous. For 3 whole days, my daughter has been missing, and not a sign or a hint of any action by the police. What is the matter with you fellas? Are you dead or alive?
A moot question.
Of all the inept, incompetent...
Now, Mr. Blake, just be calm.
Don't tell me what to do.
No, of course not. But I can assure you...
Your assurances don't mean a thing to me. I want action, and I want it soon. And let me assure you, Captain Murphy, that if I don't get some real action in a hurry, there's going to be a change in the personnel around here, starting with the top of the department.
Yes, sir.
Just remember that.
He sure gives out in a high bow tone.
Really, Captain Murphy, what you need is a special...
Stop right where you are. But listen. No, you listen to me. I've been on this force since Hector was both ends of a frankfurter. And I've been accused of a lot of things. Slipping the taxpayers out of their money, incompetence, condemned as dead from the neck up. But this is the first time that I've ever been accused of murder.
But, Captain, all I want to tell you is you don't understand. All I want to do is leave my application in there.
Now,
You know I don't need you to help me to help myself out.
Good heavens. Seems the captain persists in feeling irate.
You rate? Man, what an option. What do we do now?
Now? Well, there's only one thing we can do.
Uh-oh.
We'll call on him at once.
Yes, sir. We sure will.
He can't fail to see us.
Sure enough. Who?
Well, tell your master the Professor Jones is here on a very important matter.
Do you have an appointment?
It's not at all necessary.
Mr. Blake is not seeing anyone.
But it's very important.
Now what was
Don't ask me what we're going to do. There's only one thing to do.
I was afraid of that.
Why didn't I think of this before?
I couldn't say it.
We'll call him on the phone.
Sure thing. We'll ring him. Who?
Mr. Blake. Mr. James J. Blake. Oh, I seem to be out of nickels. Rarely carry such infinitesimally small change. Eustace, would you oblige me with a nickel?
Professor, that makes a pentesimally 6 bits that you owe me. Pentesimally speaking, of course.
Hello? Blake resident? I'd like to speak to Mr. James J. Blake.
I'm sorry, sir. No, it's quite impossible. Mr. Blake will accept calls only from police headquarters.
No soap, huh?
Oh, it's that butler again. He's a hail fellow well avoided.
Now what will we do?
Follow me.
Present feet, follow.
And reducing the underworld to these two major factions. Who are the leaders?
Edgar and Jake Pilati.
Most interesting. And of the two, who is the more dangerous?
Edgar, I think. He's about as tough as they come.
Has he been in the limelight lately?
Not much. Pretty quiet. Sort of undercover.
Most significant. Still waters, you know.
Pete, the professor's fixing to say there's one thing to do.
Sergeant, with your aid, I can get an interview with Mr. Blake and launch a plan.
Wait a minute, Professor. I have no authority now, and besides, Blake won't even talk to the commissioner.
He will with trickery, which entails your giving me a free hand.
Yeah? Why?
First, we need the coercion and cooperation of Mr. Blake. Granted. Second, Captain Murphy must subject himself to coercion and cooperating. Granted. Third, with your...
Just a minute, Professor. I like you. You're a great little guy, but you better count me out of this. I've got enough troubles of my own, what with losing my stripes and Susan.
But to resume. Third, with your cooperation, we can effect the rescue of Miss Blake and definitely destroy the criminal elements that are running rampant in our community. Granted.
You see, Mr. Sergeant, what the professor means that he's working on 3, 4, and 11. Granted?
Granted. Oh. So, Sergeant, your cooperation, which I indubitably need, means what? That we not only can recover your stripes, but, if I may transgress in the vernacular, square it with Susan.
Now, that's unnatural.
Captain Murphy? Hang it, man, why don't you answer your phone sooner? Are you fellas dead or alive? Yes, this is James J. Blake talking. I've got some action at last about my daughter. No, not from the police department. Through a private source. But I need your help. Now listen to me and see if you can get this straight.
What the devil is he doing in there?
I don't know. He just said wait.
Yeah, well, this waiting business gets kind of tiresome.
Why, Mr. Sergeant, you're just a player.
Yeah? What are you?
I'm a seasoned veteran. And there's my testimony.
Well, gentlemen, we've just Act 1 of our process of elimination. You see...
Must be a homicide call.
Ah, our process is in working order.
Did you do that?
Correct. You're witnessing the second act of our process.
But you can't make monkeys out of the police force.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'll see y'all later.
Now, just a moment, Eustace. This is no time to strike your colors. Come on, Sergeant. We're wasting valuable time. Captain Murphy's office without getting undue attention.
Well, there's a side door. Say, I must be losing my mind.
Before you lose it entirely, will you lead me to that side entrance?
But, Professor, you don't know what you're doing.
I beg to differ with you. And I also remember that you promised to give me full cooperation.
All right. But I'm walking into this thing knowing how a condemned man feels. Come on.
Professor, where's we going now?
To police headquarters, of course.
Uh-oh. I got a feeling I ain't gonna like the third act. But I'll go. Professor, you sure is sitting in the saddle now.
Granted. By the way, which phone is the direct outside wire?
The one on the left.
Go. What's this?
No, you forgot to put a nickel in the phone.
This isn't a payphone.
No?
Hello? Captain Murphy, headquarters is talking. If you don't mind, I'll be speaking to Mr. Blake. It's important.
What the devil?
Mr. Blake, this is Captain Murphy talking at your service. You asked for action, Mr. Blake. Well, I got a truckload of action for you. So if you'll just be kind enough to come right down to... That's fine. And a good day to you.
I don't know what you're doing, but if Murphy doesn't split your skull with an axe, I'll...
In that event, Sergeant, I will allow the pit to be all yours.
Well, dog, my cat.
Keep everybody out of my office. I ain't seeing nobody. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm beginning to smell something. And you, Pat, are you in cahoots with this?
Whatever it is, I'm in it up to my ears.
Well, I'll take care of you later. First, I'm gonna squeeze this dried-up grape to a pulp. That's right.
Well, Captain, where's my daughter?
Your daughter? Why, Well, you called.
You called.
Why, I no. Oh, you did it. You did it, didn't you?
Who is this? Very pertinent question, sir. I happen to be a criminologist.
He's loony. He's suffering from anus to the noodle. That's what he is.
I challenge that. I'm an expert detective.
He's crazy, I tell you.
But he says he's a detective.
Mr. Blake, I leave it to you. Does he look like a detective?
Well, no. But then, you look like a police officer.
Yes, sir.
But are you?
Oh?
You know, any man who could fool both of us into rushing off like a couple of ninnies must have something. Thank you, Mr. Blake. It's just a tactical maneuver in order to bring us together. For what purpose? I have a plan to bring those abductors out into the open. It's absolutely sound.
Sound, yes. He's all sound.
Now, wait a minute, Murphy. Wait a minute. I'll handle this. Go ahead. I suggest you print a story, release it to the newspapers, that the abductors have been contacted. But why should I issue a false statement? A necessary expedient, sir. A ruse. Don't you see, the abductors will read it. This city is held in the powerful grip of two big criminal elements. Doesn't it stand that your daughter might be held by either one or the other of these factions? In that case, it follows that each group will think the other is using duplicity in order to get the ransom money.
Will y'all excuse me while I...
Shut up!
Respondent.
Thus, the guilty party or parties will hasten to make contact in order to protect their interests. Is that not probable?
Yes, but playing one side against the other is very, very dangerous.
Well, that's quite true. But considering your daughter's peril, don't you think inaction is even more dangerous?
Why, the nerve of you.
Wait a minute. He's right. And furthermore, your plan sounds reasonable.
With your permission, sir, I have it worked out right here. Composition is but one of my varied gifts.
Ah.
Well, dog, my cat.
Now, here's what I call an interesting article. It says here, how to tell your friends from the apes. Get a load of this. Sectors, contact James J. Blake.
What? This, you didn't get in touch without me knowing.
I didn't get in touch with anybody.
Well, then who did? Of all the crazy...
Wait a minute. There's just one guy. He'd do nip-ups to get even with us for taking him. Jake Pilati.
Pilati?
Yeah. But how could he? He can't deliver the goods. He can't. But that ain't stopping him from trying to cut in ahead of us on the dough.
Why, that double-crossing... That ain't honest.
We better put the works on old man Blake in a hurry for that dough. But first we take care of Jake Pilati, so he doesn't spoil our game.
Dick always was ambitious.
Yeah. He wanted to go places, and he did.
Get out your knives, fellas. We're going to do a little cut and paste up job. I'll call off the letters, and you clip them out of the paper.
Well, what is this, some kind of a game?
Yeah, a little game of hide and seek with Mr. James J. Blake. All right, let's go. Y O U 8
You're dealing with the right party now, and we mean business. If you want to get your daughter back alive, bring the cash. Come to the 4th ranch house past Trenton Corners. Don't notify the police, or it'll be just too bad for your daughter. Come alone, and no fast moves. You'll be watched every second. They're desperate men.
That's why we must notify the police immediately.
But they said not to. My daughter's safety.
There's no guarantee you'll get your daughter back once they get their hands on your money.
Oh, it seems like a desperate chance.
If you value your daughter's safety, you will instruct the police to throw a dragnet over the abductor's hideout at once. I'll take the money. Yes, because if they get their hands on it, your life expectancy can be measured in seconds. But if they get the dummy ransom, you and your daughter are still valuable to them.
Yes, but for how long?
Sufficient time for me to move in with the police.
Oh.
Good heavens, what was that?
What? Let's see what this is. You were warned about giving the nod to the cops. This is your last chance. Go to the phone booth in the drugstore at 6th and Maple at once and wait for a call, and you will get orders where to bring the money. And if you spill to the cops this time, it will be too bad for your daughter.
Oh, dear. Our entire strategy must be altered.
Yes. And from now on, I'm taking charge of the alterations.
But, Mr. Blake...
Oh, shut up. I've listened to you and the bungling police long enough. Now, I'm obeying orders, and I'm going to pay for my daughter's freedom. All right, useless. Go to the corner of 6th and Maple at the drugstore at once, and hurry.
But, Mr. Blake... But, Mr. Blake, you're making a grave mistake. Eustace, call this place at Trenton Corners. Tell Captain Murphy and Sergeant Flanagan to come to this drugstore at once. And hurry.
Hello. Yes? Okay, right.
Well, Mr. Blake...
Hiya, Doc. Cigars?
Yes, Harry. My usual brand.
Stork arrive at Mrs. O'Brien's okay, Doc?
Yep. Brought 3 this time.
3?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, a bald-headed explosive gentleman named Murphy will inquire from you shortly. Would you give him this with my compliments, please?
A bald-headed? Explosive?
Well, sorry we overlooked you, friend. But the boss would never forgive us if we didn't bring you to his party. Let's go.
Professor! Professor! I was just talking to Captain Murphy, and he said...
Never mind what he says.
What's the matter?
You're coming to this party, too.
What party? I don't want to go to no party. Wait a minute, y'all. What is the matter with y'all? I don't want to go to no party. I don't want to go to no party. Wait a minute.
Well, good night, Harry. I'll see you later.
Good night, Doc.
Get the commissioner on the phone and tell him our plans have been changed. Well, where is he?
Who?
That spook, that flibbergibber, that half-pint.
Oh, him. Yeah, he just left with a couple of friends. Said something about going to a party.
A party? At a time like this? I just think that the son of the House of Mercy would walk right into the flight paper planted by that flea.
Oh, you must be Murphy.
Yes, I'm Murphy.
He left this magazine for you.
Yes. Oh.
Commissioner Gould's office.
Hello, Susan. This is Pat.
Oh, how nice.
But, honey, this is business.
With Miss Blake, I presume.
No. Yes, no! Look, honey, get in touch with the commissioner. Tell him there's been a switch in the kidnapper's plans and to come right away to 6th and Maple.
Try it again!
And put this in your notebook. Patrick Flanagan loves Susan.
He's been here, he's gone. Gone to a party, mind you, and left no word where it was. The nerve of him. And he left me a detective magazine. So I want to be a policeman. Come on, let's get back to headquarters.
Harry, I've got the wrong bag. Look at all the money.
Wait a minute. I take charge of this.
The ransom money. We've got to find Blake.
That's right.
Just a minute, sir. Don't you want your magazine?
Thank you. Boy, if I catch that hop toad, I'll give him a magazine right down his throat.
Hey, wait a minute. He must have...
Hey, he's not so dumb at that.
No.
When Commissioner Gould gets here, tell him to come to this address right away.
Yes, sir.
But, for the last time, where's the money?
I tell you, I don't know.
I don't want to go to no party. I don't want to come to no party.
He hasn't got the money. You told me you saw him leave the bank with it. Now, where is it?
Here has the answer to that.
Oh, yeah? What's this merry-go-round you're handing me? Who has got the money?
Well, he,
Now, wait a minute, Biff. Then he's the only one that could have it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was in the car, too.
All right, where is it?
I ain't got no money in my pocket. I spent it all for war bonds.
He must have ditched it then, Biff. He left the car when those two guys went in the drugstore.
Yeah?
You better sing fast, Canary.
I can't sing, mister. My tongue done backed up into my throat.
You know? You might have had the makings of a great sawbones.
Speaking of sawbones, how'd you like to get bit by a buzzsaw?
Yeah, and I know a man who owns one.
I know where I can sell it.
Can't you see he's telling the truth?
Yes, sir. My head is plumb closed.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
Maybe a little pressure might open it up.
Hey, what are you doing with that? Just a moment, gentlemen. I have the means of destroying everybody in this room.
Don't give me that bunk.
Don't move, I warn you.
Take it away from me.
The slightest concussion of this formula will blow everybody to bits.
Take it away from him.
Now, wait a minute, Biff. This stuff he's got might be dangerous.
I said take it away from him.
I warn you. Don't come any closer. I'm warning you.
That's what I thought. Phony. Sounds bad enough to destroy even you.
Oh, that's ridiculous. It's just a sleeping potion. Oh, that would put me to sleep. I couldn't talk.
More bunk.
Oh.
You're gonna drink some of your own medicine just the same. Unless you tell me where that dough is.
It's an excellent opportunity to effect the rescue of your daughter. Right.
Keep drawing their fire here, Captain. I'll work around to the side.
What is it?
right, Biff. Drop it.
Well, I cleaned them all up, sir. Where's Blake and his daughter?
Blake and his... Oh, boy.
Well, I'm relieved to find you both safe.
Well, thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, to him. I'm done with him. Take him out. Take him on out.
Where's Flanagan?
Flanagan!
Right here, sir. This guy's outside. He won't have to stand trial.
Well, I guess that pretty well cleans up the last nest of vermin.
We have Professor Jones to thank for this, Commissioner.
Well, my only object was the vindication of Officer Flanagan. It was really he who made the capture possible.
Flanagan, I think I owe you an apology. Perhaps something a little more substantial. See me in my office in the morning.
Oh, Sergeant, I don't know how to thank you. Oh, Pat, I've got wonderful news. Now,
Susan, honey, I can explain everything.
I was wondering about my appointment to the police force. Don't you think Captain Murphy needs an aide?
Well, of course, you see, that all depends...
I have some excellent ideas about reorganizing police personnel, such as reshuffling Captain Murphy's department. You see, mismanagement is the cause of...
Uh-oh. Here we go again. Murphy!